possible. As you say, some series, 2 test matches worth 60 points. Then you have other series where there's 4 test matches and they're worth 30 points a test match. But the players know that at the start. They look at the schedule, they know how many points are on offer, and I don't think it changes the way teams play. If you're good enough, you'll still be in the 2 best teams and you'll play off for the World Test Championship final. So,
let's say India and West Indies are playing in a 2-match test series. India obviously will might defeat West Indies favourites to win.
Sure.
But then there is this Ashes or an India-Australia series, which will be a 5-match test series, big matches, but only 20 points for one game.
Yeah.
Do you think that is fair?
Well, unless a genius comes up with a solution, we've got to stick with it because it's so hard to find to fit it all in and for someone to come up with a criteria. I think right now it's pretty good. Maybe we can redefine that or tweak that after the first Test Championship and say we can probably fix it up, or there's not enough points on offer for this Ashes series. But right now, I think it's great that we've got something started and there's going to be a finality to it. And I can guarantee the 2 best sides will be at wherever the final's at. Is it Lords? I'm not sure, but they'll be playing on that final, and we'll see someone crown the World Test Champion. But right now, it's really hard to get it exactly right.
Who are you backing at this moment? India and Australia at the top of the ladder?
We'll know a bit more next year when India come down to Australia. I think that'll be the playoff for the best Test side in the world. Australia will be peaking by the time. India have been peaking for the last 12 months, so it's going to be an amazing series. And I really don't know who would win that series, but I think Indian fans will think India are going to win, and I think Australian fans will think Australia will win. Yeah.
Do you think that Steve Smith can come back as leader, although when he was banned it was said that he cannot come back as a leader? But do you think since he has made such a spectacular comeback, both him and Warner have done exceptionally well in the last 1 year?
Yes.
What do you say?
Well, I say to everybody, why are we changing the leadership? Tim Paine's doing a great job. I think we need to show him more respect. He's come in a tough situation. He's built the team up. They're playing his style, and they're doing really well. I mean, I just don't see why we're talking about who the next captain is. Right now, I think he's doing a very good job, and he's a captain for the foreseeable future. I know he's in his mid-30s, but that doesn't mean he's not playing another couple of years. And right now, he's doing a good job. So I don't really want to answer that question because I think it's not paying respect to the current captain. If I was captain, I would hate people asking who's the next captain, because right now he's in the job and doing well.
Considering that Steve has led the team and he's such an exceptional player for the team, that is why.
Yeah, look, he'll be in the running, no doubt, when the next captaincy role comes up. But there's a number of factors to consider. You know, how many runs he's scoring by having the less pressure being captain. Does he want to be captain? Is there another option to be a captain? So there'll be a lot of questions asked when Tim either steps down or moves on. But there's no doubt Smith will be in the running to be one of those candidates to be a captain.
Talking about that India-Australia series that is in the future, all the Australian players just after the series, the recent series against New Zealand that concluded, even Tim Paine was talking about that we are all working towards the India series.
Yes.
Pat Cummins said that similar thing. It is obviously going to be a big series. The last time when India was in Australia, they defeated Australia 2-0.
Yes.
And obviously Steve Smith wasn't there, Warner wasn't there.
Yes.
Marnus hadn't come up that time.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, even Hazelwood didn't play in 2 tests.
Yeah.
So this time, what is your assessment? Is Australia the favourites? Because all these players will be there.
Yeah, Australia will be favourites, I think, because we're playing in Australia and we know the pitch as well, and a day-night test is going to be something reasonably new. I think hopefully India will play it. I think they've agreed to play that. But I like the fact that Virat Kohli is taking on that challenge. If you want to be the best side in the world, you've got to win away from home as much as you can. As you say, they won 2-0 last time, but and they played as well as they could play against the opposition. So you can't take anything away from India. But the facts are, we obviously had 2 of the best batsmen not there, and as you say, Labuschagne's come from nowhere, and now the bowling attack is very settled. There's no real weaknesses in the current Australian side, particularly with Nathan Lyon. I think India, by the same token, have no real weaknesses either. So it's going to be potentially a great series. Yeah.
Talking about Labuschagne, Sachin recently said that he reminds him of himself. Do you agree with that?
Well, that's a big quote. Maybe he's trying to put him off by saying that, but no, I don't think so. But look, Sachin has every right to say that, and maybe he saw something. It might be in his temperament or the way he goes about his batting. He seems to have an insatiable appetite for runs, and he trains exceptionally hard. I was very impressed with him, and I first went and met up with the side with the Ashes, he really stood out as a guy that he wanted to make a difference. He wanted to be the next player to do well, and he came from a long way back in the pack. 12 months ago, he was probably just in the top 26 players in Australia, and now he's the 4th-ranked Test batsman in the world. So it's been an incredible transformation.
How do you assess this bowling lineup of India? Especially the fast bowling lineup, you know, Bumrah is there, then Ishant Sharma, then
plenty,
Shami, and in comparison you have Hazelwood, Pat Cummins and Stark. I think that series is going to be the fast bowlers.
Yeah, well, I think I describe it as India have the best fast bowling attack in India, and when they play in India, they're the best fast bowling attack in the world. When cricket is played in Australia, I think Australia has the best fast bowling attack in the world. So when we come to Australia, I think we'll have a slight edge. And if we go to India, I think India will have a slight edge for the fast bowling. So it's touch and go. I think both captains will be very happy with the personnel they've got, because they know they can take 20 wickets, and that's what you need to win Test matches.
Your take on Bumrah, because he has been hyped up.
Exceptional. A unique talent, and it's great that he wasn't coached out of his style, because I'm sure a lot of people would have said you need to run in quicker or you can't bowl that way, and they've let him be natural, which is fantastic. And he's an incredible asset for India. He's got great stamina, accuracy, pace. He's got everything, and he seems like he's got a pretty good temperament as well, and he loves a challenge, and he likes leading the attack. So Virat Kohli's very lucky to have him in the attack.
Steve, when you were there, like the Australian team that you were leading, you were winning outside Australia and obviously also in Australia.
Yeah.
There is no team nowadays who you can say that they win home as well as abroad.
I think India's done pretty well the last 12-18 months. So I think they've won quite a fair bit away from home. There's no reason why they shouldn't. I mean, I just don't see why it should be so hard, because you have neutral umpires. The guys are world cricketers. They play in all situations all around the world now. They regularly travel. The pitches are generally pretty much the same all around the world. I don't think there's too much difference. And there's no reason why. I think it's just all in the mind. It's a mindset. It's harder to win away from home. If you can break that way of thinking, then I think you can win anywhere. And I'm sure Virat Kohli's, that's what he's telling his team, that just because it's Australia doesn't mean it's harder to win. And in fact, for India, they have a massive advantage, because every country they play in, that they dominate the crowds. I mean, there's more Indians watch when India come to Australia. It's Australian fans are the minority. So India, in a lot of ways, are playing at home nearly all the time.
India has played a recent day-night test against Bangladesh, and now the government has said that there will be a day-night test with Australia.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
That's great. I mean, so they should. It's a great opportunity, and it's a great spectacle, and something I'll never forget, playing in a day-night test in Australia. It's got fantastic atmosphere. It's a new challenge for some of the great players to do well in. They want to almost tick that box off and say, I scored 100 or took 5 wickets in a day-night test match. So it's a way you look at the opportunity. It's you can either see it as a challenge or it's going to be too hard. So I'm sure India will see it as a challenge, and I think it's good for world cricket, and I'm glad that India have agreed to play the day-night test.
Regarding the day-night test, most of the experts and also the captains around the world have said that the bowlers have a distinct advantage in a day-night test, especially with the pink ball. Do you agree with that? Because fast bowlers get swing and seam.
Well, that's a good thing. I think people love watching that. I mean, I know in Australia that people love watching a day-night test match, because you can't take your eye off the action, because every ball something might happen. There is opportunity for bowlers. Good batsmen score runs. I think that's a great thing that the bowlers are more in the game, particularly at night time. The conditions change a lot, and really you've got to try and preserve your wickets at night time. And if you're bowling, you've got to really try and attack and get the wicket. So there's a temptation to sometimes over-attack and you get it wrong. So you've still got to put the ball in the right spot to get wickets.
Steve, when you come to a place like to a stage like this, do you think the ICC is doing enough to globalize cricket, to make it a global sport
I guess so. It's hard to know. I mean, there's so many great sports, and you see all the amazing sports people here representing different sports. I mean, it's hard to sort of get a foothold in every part of the world, but cricket I think is doing pretty well, and it's growing, and T20 cricket opens up to more countries. So I think the ICC are doing a pretty good job. I guess you can always be critical of what's happening, but I think cricket's in generally a pretty good space. But there's a lot of competition from a lot of upcoming sports, and there's new sports coming in the Olympics this year, and so cricket definitely can't become complacent.
But don't you think that it has become a 5-team or 6-team dominant sport?
Well,
yeah, it was
sure.
A 12-team, I guess.
Yeah. More so in Test cricket, probably. Yeah. I mean, there's something they've got to address. I'm not sure what the solution is there, but you're right. There's no point in having just 3 or 4 teams that are good Test cricket. You need at least 8 and possibly more. It's a lot more even in one-day cricket and T20, but Test cricket, they'll have to look at how can we sort of even this up a bit, and I'm hoping some teams will develop a bit more. Bangladesh, I think, are on the improve, and that's a nation that can really do well in the next 10 years. Sri Lanka have fallen back a bit in recent times. They're rebuilding.
South Africa is...
South Africa is definitely rebuilding as well, but they're a proud cricketing nation, so I expect them. They've got some good coaches in place, ex-players.
Yeah.
But you're right in what you say. We need more than 3 or 4 teams playing well.
Do you think cricket should be back in the Olympics, like Olympics and the Asian Games, the Commonwealth Games? Because
yeah, I loved it. I went to the Commonwealth Games in 1998 and it was one of the great experiences of my life. I couldn't wait to get there, and it's one of the greatest disappointments of my career. We got the silver medal. We lost to South Africa in the final, and I don't see any reason why it should be in the Commonwealth Games. It's a great Commonwealth sport. It's basically a mini World Cup. Nearly every cricket-playing country is a Commonwealth country, so it'd be a huge spectacle, a huge event. So it definitely should be there.
Do you think which format, Steve, do you think is ideal for something like the Olympics or the Asian Games, the Commonwealth Games?
Well, I think the Olympics probably 2020 really, and I think that would fit the Olympics because to me, if you go to the Olympics, it's got to be the pinnacle of your sport. To me, Test matches, playing India versus Pakistan or Australia versus England, that's a pinnacle. So playing a Test match for the Olympics, it doesn't sit for me. And you have the World Cup for one-day cricket, which I think is a pinnacle. So maybe the Olympics can be the pinnacle for T20 cricket.
Recently, there were suggestions that the length of the Test matches should be reduced. The debate is still on. So I think you would love to have the same format going on.
Yeah, 5 days to me. I don't see why change. It's too much change in the world today. Like, there's nothing wrong with a bit of tradition, and some of the best matches go over 5 days and aren't a result. So, and I think it's also a reward for the players. You've got a very busy schedule. If you can win in 3 or 4 days, you get a day off and rest. If you make it 4 days, it becomes more and more compressed. I think you get more and more injuries, and I think the standard of cricket will drop. So,
also the spinners go out of the game.
Yeah, I don't see the point. I think it's just someone made a suggestion, and a few people jump on the bandwagon. And let's have 4-day Test cricket. For me, I don't even see that as an issue. I think 5-day cricket's great, and if you can win in 3 or 4 days, then that's good. I suppose the problem is for the broadcasters. Maybe they're not getting the content they need, but I'm happy with 5-day cricket.
What's your take on this big 3 model? India, Australia, England. Economically, they are thriving. India, Australia, and England, obviously. But the money is not percolating into, say, countries like Zimbabwe. What is your... Because when the time you were playing, that was not the case.
Yeah, I don't really understand where the money... I don't know, to tell you the truth. So what you're asking me, I'm not really that well informed, but obviously 3 countries...
The big 3 model, India, Australia...
Yeah, well...
Making a conglomerate kind of thing.
Well, again, there's no point in having that if you've only got 3 strong playing nations. So we've got to develop countries like Zimbabwe and Bangladesh and Sri Lanka and Ireland, the new Test playing countries. So there's got to be money funneling into those other countries, and perhaps even if it's mentors or coaches to bring up the young players. So look, I understand that it's a business and the big 3 players want more than everyone else, but if they want the game to thrive and survive, then you've definitely got to share it around and develop other countries.
Steve, after having won a lot of medals and a lot of cups, do you think missing the Olympic gold medal is something which you really...
Commonwealth Games, yeah. Oh, for sure, yeah, I'm very disappointed. I mean, that was one of the greatest disappointments of my career, and it actually became a turning point for that one-day team because I think some of the players were a bit complacent and didn't really give didn't fully commit 100% to winning that gold medal, and we sat down afterwards and said it's never going to happen again. So it made us a stronger team, but the regret was, we didn't play as well as we should have to win that Commonwealth Games.
Okay, not having Commonwealth Games gold is one thing, but not playing the Olympics is another thing. You think that's not a big...
well, I'd love the Olympics. I mean, I've been to the Olympics as a mentor with the Australian team in Beijing and London. The best 3 weeks of my life. I loved it. So I love the Olympic Games. So if cricket was there, maybe I'll come out of retirement.
Recently, you were also there in the Australian team dressing room.
Yeah, the Ashes.
Ashes.
Yeah, I was there for...
How is the dressing room environment these days? What was your feeling? Especially after the...
They were good, very good, very polite, and I mean I was amazed after the first Test match win where they had the celebrations. Definitely, they had celebrations and drinks were flying around like they normally do, and people, were carrying on a bit. The moment it finished, every player got a towel and cleaned up the whole change room. 10 minutes later, it was spick and span. Back in our day, that we would have left it a mess. So
that's an interesting anecdote.
It is. They're much more aware, and that's something that Justin Langer and Tim Payne have brought in the side, is be humble and respectful and treat people a certain way, and in leaving their dressing room in a good condition. I think it's something the All Blacks started, and it's something Justin's brought in the team.